Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about a role-playing supplement called Terran Empire. It is for, the Star Hero game. And the Star Hero game is the science fiction setting for the Hero role-playing system. Now, the Hero role-playing system, and this is the 5th edition, revised, is, without the doubt, the biggest role-playing game I own. This thing is very, very big. It looks, it feels, and it reads like a physics textbook. This is probably the most detailed and accurate role-playing game that you could possibly ever play with. It is also one of the blandest, because to achieve that level of generic completion, they had to basically strip all of the flavor and the fluff out of the game, and this is nothing but a book of pure mechanics. I have never read this book cover to cover. I am never going to read this book cover to cover. I got really lucky. I picked up this brand new spanking copy for $7. I consider it a key component of my collection because I can use it as a reference anytime I want to. I'm glad I own it. I will probably never play it. But it is a good toolkit, and where is it? Nope. The Ultimate Gamer's Toolkit is what they call it on the side. And there's a reason for that. Because it is a toolkit. It's not a functioning game as it is. So they put out a good game called Star Hero, which was the science fiction version. They took this, took the elements that would fit a science fiction setting and produced it. But it's a setting without a campaign. It's just the rules to run a science fiction game. It's a smaller toolkit, significantly smaller than this one. Now, I don't own Star Heroes. I plan on picking it up eventually if I get a good price on it. But this is their campaign setting for that. And I did get a good price on this. I paid $10 for this. And I bought it because I like science fiction, because I like campaign settings in general, because it's very rare that I can't use something from the campaign setting, even if I choose not to use the entire thing. There are always ideas that I can rip off, file off the serial number so you can't tell where I got it from, and run with it and let somebody else do the heavy lifting for me, so I can just borrow their work. I wasn't particularly successful at this one. The basic premise of this setting is that this covers the community of galactic empires that are in our galaxy. Our galaxy. So it's the Terran Empire, which is the name of this, which is the empire controlled from Earth, but a number of star systems. And all of these groups in this game are huge groups of star systems. So these are big empires. Each one of these is like the size of the Star Trek universe or the size of the Star Wars universe. And there's multiples of them all under different political controls. So it's a big sweeping game. This particular game covers the years 2400 to 2700. So you're talking the 25th to the 28th century. So it's far in the future. All kinds of whiz-bang-G stuff just shy of being magic kind of technology things. What turned me off from this book were three things. First, the layout. The layout of this book is horrible. The first section of this book are the races. Different galactic races you can play in a Terran Empire game. And I could not tell, literally could not tell, when one entry for a race ended and the next one began. Because they're so broken up. Because there's like one entry will stop 2 inches down the page, and the next one is a page and a half, and then there's a line on this one, and then it jumps to the next page, and then there are sidebars. It was very poorly put together. And if they had just done an entry where it was a 2-page for each race, boom, boom, a picture to take up a little space, entry here, entry there, good to go. And that would have been a wonderful way to do it. I think you may have bumped up the page count by 3 or 4 pages for that chapter, but it would have been easy and figure out what's going on. The Star Wars game does this, and each race gets like a page, I think it is, less than that, half page. And they get the information across that this game failed to do with their layout. The second problem I had is the art. Now, I freely admit that I'm a bit of an art snob, particularly when it comes to science fiction. I expect things to look like they could actually function. Because in fantasy, if things don't look like they actually function, I don't care. It's fantasy. It's got dragons and unicorns and pixies, you know? It's okay if things aren't completely realistic. But when you're basing something on our world, even if you throw in the fantastical on top of it, it's gotta look like it makes some kind of sense. And the art in this was very uneven and by and large not good. But what got me the most was the art for the races. Now I can understand when you have races, alien races on a television series or a cheap movie, that they are people, they look like people in costumes because they are people in costumes. But when you're doing art for a role-playing game, and the only limitation you have is the imagination of the artist, okay? There is no reason that you limit yourself to the pictures looking like humans in a costume. And they've got a couple in there that literally don't even look like humans in costumes. They look like a human wearing a rubber mask. It's just depressing. There aren't even digigrade legs on some of these animal-like aliens. They just put like human feet on these supposedly alien lizard-like beings. It was absurd. I was very disappointed. I would have preferred if they handed this to someone who knew something about anthropomorphic art. There's a huge anthro community out there they could have relied on to get these aliens to look unique and interesting and believable, and they dropped it. I mean, I do a little art myself, so I understand a little bit about that your imagination can take you in places that the real world can't, and this game didn't take advantage of that. And the last thing that bugged me was an inherent part of the hero system, because everything has huge stat blocks. Just a single character has literally a stat block this big of nothing but numbers. No lines describing what these numbers are, really, just blocks of numbers. It's huge. And they get to the end and they're doing ships, and it's a page and a half of numbers to describe what this ship has, all the shields and all the different weapons and the hit points of the weapons. It's like looking at an accounting sheet. My brain just kind of glazed over. I'm just like, yeah, this is a ship. Well, that's good. Flip, flip, flip. I wanted something else out of this. I didn't get it. I will keep it as a reference. I'll put it on my shelf. And someday I'll probably own the Star Hero game, so that if I ever want to actually use it and understand what some of the things mean, I can. But in the meantime, I'm shelving this one, and I'm probably not going to look at it for a really long time.